Hello and welcome back to Random Vids. So one of my favorite things to talk about is past videos that I did in the past. And one of my favorite series, well, I guess sort of one of my favorite series that I did back in the past was of course the thing that started it all, Stuffed Animal Amazing Race. Well, with 4 seasons coming and going, there has been a total of 33 different teams on the Amazing Race. 11 of them got to come back obviously in the All-Star. Something I've never done before that I thought would be kind of cool is to rank every single team from worst to best. And not like how good they did in the season, but more so how fun were they to do? How did I enjoy doing them? Were they a weird team? Were they awkward? Did they just didn't belong at all? Were they like a last minute thought? So we'll figure that out today. Now the only rule is I'm not going to split up different teams. Like, let's take Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, for example. They were in Season 1 and Season 4 for the All-Star. That does not mean I'm doing them twice. I'm just going to base them off of kind of like a middle ground. If I really loved them in one season and hated them in another, just as an example, not saying that was true at all, but if that was, but like, let's just pretend I hated them in one season and loved them in the next. I would base it off of the middle ground then. So that's just kind of like, just figured I'd let you all know that I'm not doing teams twice. It's just going to be one season or one team each time. So with that, let's get to the ranking and let's get to number 33 and my absolute least favorite team that I've ever did out of any of the Amazing Race seasons, and that team would be at number 33. I have R2D2 and BB-8, raced in season 3, placement ninth place. Oh boy, where do I begin with these two? Obviously, as Star Wars characters, cool. But putting them in a season, very dry. Way more dry than I thought they were going to be. It also doesn't help that this is a team that, doesn't ever talk. They're robots. They don't talk. Well, how do you make them interesting? You can't just make them have noises the whole time. Well, let's just make them have voices then. Man, this team was a disaster from the very start. It was a horrible decision to put them in this season. And the problem is that this was one of the first teams I wrote down, too. It wasn't one of the last ones where I was just like, alright, let's just hammer out this so we can get season 3 started. No, this was one of the first teams I've written down. And, definitely a very poor choice. And in my opinion, definitely the worst team that I've ever done in Amazing Race. So thank God I didn't have to do them for too long, but, they were pretty bad. Number 32, Goomba and Koopa, Season 3, placement 11th place. Oh, and here's the same problem with the Star Wars characters. Good old Goomba and Koopa. Once again, how am I going to make them be able to interact with things? Why, let's just make them talk. It's not like they, don't talk. And, okay, but at the same time, they're just extremely boring. Like, having a Goomba and a Koopa together just screams, hey, I'm out of ideas. So let's put two of the more popular Mario characters together and just consider them a team, and then have them get out first because they were definitely not fun to do at all. Yeah, I can definitely see why they got out first. Even though BB-8 and R2-D2 could have been considered fun, because they could have almost acted like the villains for the first bit, but they got out way too early and they weren't ever that fun. Goomba and Koopa, same situation. They were just no fun to do at all, so I can totally see why I got them out first. Number 31, Morton and Roy, Season 2, placement 11th place. Here we have another one of these type of bland last-minute teams, and that's a shame. Season 2 has an amazing cast, but Morton and Roy definitely stick out like a sore thumb for sure. And, well, that is true. They were the very last team that I wrote down for Season 2, so here we have a team that's extremely boring, and one that's not fun to do, but I was just like, you know what, it's a filler team, they're here, they're going to be the first ones out anyway, so it's not really a big deal. And it's a shame, because Season 2 has such a great cast, but there's just one bad apple in it, that's all. But Morton and Roy, I mean, they at least, I feel like, they just don't have random sound effects like the other two we talked about so far, but they were still extremely boring to do. Number 30, Bingo and Rolly, Season 3, 6th place. Here we are, back to Season 3 again. I mean, you guys are pretty much expecting this season to kind of get thrown out. Not thrown out, but there's going to be a lot of teams here at the start of this list that come from season 3. Because as you know, it is, in my opinion, the absolute worst season that I've ever done. Easily the only season I hated, dreaded, and half of it I almost blame it on Bingo and Rolly in a way. And it isn't necessarily because I hate them. I love Bingo and Rolly, like Puppy Dog Pals, great show. Like, I think they're great, cute characters, but I had the choice to put them in season 3 of Stuffed Animal Amazing Race, in a season that already had a lot of younger teams, and the fact that the plushies I have of them are so large and massive that they're just so hard to maneuver around. They would never stand up. You always had to find somewhere to prop them, and it was just chaos. And then there's episode 7, where Rolly has, I don't even know what you want to call it. I guess he's sad that he's been on the race for so long that he misses his friends and stuff, so he has a whole crisis there, but then he gets better by the next episode, and then they're eliminated. It's just all over the place. I was not in the mood to construct any big story or anything that would even make sense or that would be fun to watch. I just look at this and roll my eyes like, what was I thinking when I did this? There is a scene in season 4 that I think I did way, way, way better on for a more sad backstory. But this one is it just comes out of nowhere. It's so random, and it's on a character who, you normally don't expect this random. Because, Rolly in the show, he's usually very happy. He's like the dimwit one of the two. He's always very happy, if I didn't mention that. So I don't know what I was trying to do there. I don't know. Like I said, I was in no mood to do some sort of big story that made sense. I just did something that was just like, there we go. That I will put this in this leg. Why the heck not? So yeah, these guys were not fun to do at all. And what's funny is that I think I told you guys this before, but originally Bingo and Rolly were going to make it all the way to Final Four and get 4th place. They were going to get replaced, they were going to get 4th place. But because of how I didn't like them at all, they ended up getting 6th place instead, and Lampo and Scooby John Jones replaced them into getting 4th place. So yeah, definitely one of my absolute least favorite teams of all time. At least this is a team that talks, so I don't have to just make up something. So thank goodness for that. But yeah, Bingo and Rolly definitely are one of the weakest teams of season 3, and unfortunately is half the reason why I blame season 3 for how bad it was. Once again, love Bingo and Rolly. They're adorable, but they just don't work in Stuffed Animal Amazing Race. I'm sorry. Not these plush sizes, at least. If I had something smaller, then maybe. And if it wasn't season 3, if it was a different season, maybe. But yeah, no. Alright, let's move on. I could talk about Bingo and Rolly all day long. Number 29, Espio and Charmy. And once again, we have another season 3 team. No surprise there. So I wanted to have some sort of Sonic team in this season, because, every season has had a Sonic team, and Espio and Charmy were one of the only ones that I've never done yet, so I figured, hey, why the heck not? I don't know if it was a good idea. It wasn't, because Espio and Charmy were extremely boring to do, especially compared to all the other Sonic teams. Even Sonic and Eevee, who were the first ones eliminated from Season 1, that were way more fun than Espio and Charmy were. They just had nothing to them. They were extremely boring, and it also didn't help the fact that they helped out Bingo and Rolly, so they're already with a very boring team as is, and a boring season with another boring team, and Season 3, why were you just so awful? But yeah, Espio and Charmy were just bland. At best, they were meh. At worst, they were annoying as heck. And they did manage to get 7th place, so there's that. But it wasn't anything too interesting. And in my opinion, easily the worst Sonic team that I've ever done. And yeah, no doubt about it. They were definitely the worst. I think we can move on. Number 28, Yoshi and Birdo. Season 2, placement 8th place. I don't really know how I feel about Yoshi and Birdo. On one hand, it was nice doing Yoshi again, and being with Birdo this time instead of just another Yoshi. On the other hand, I think that made it more boring than it was in Season 1. Because obviously, Birdo was a non-talking character, and sometimes it can kind of be fun having one person talk the whole time. Other times, it just doesn't work and it's extremely boring. And Yoshi, who was already kind of a boring character in Season 1, it was just as boring this season. And once again, come on, it's Season 2. Season 2 has a really, really great cast. So, Yoshi and Birdo, once again, kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Not as bad as Mort and Roy do. They were at least fun to do at times. They were fine. But, man, they were nothing compared to some of the way, way better teams in this season. So, Yoshi and Birdo, they basically just existed, and that was that. Number 27, Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi. Season 2, placement 10th. So, I mean, not a horrible team by any means, just maybe not as fun as some of the others. Once again, it also doesn't help that they were on a cast full of really, really great teams, so having them end up getting in, 10th place, they didn't stay for too long. And compared to the other two babies, they were just meh. It could also be the fact that Wario and Waluigi are also my least favorite between them, Peach and Daisy, and Mario and Luigi. But I don't know. And Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi doesn't really bring anything new or interesting to the table. If I want a really fun baby team, I can just go with, the bros themselves, Mario and Luigi. But, you gotta have them. Baby Wario, Baby Waluigi, you gotta put them in a season sometime. But overall, I mean, at best, like I said, they were fine. At worst, boring. Number 26, Lampo and Skippy John Jones. Season 3, placement 4th place. So, here we have another one of these young teams from Season 4. Obviously, way better than Bingo and Rolly, but they're probably my second least favorite out of the young teams. Unless there was one I mentioned already and I just completely forgot about it already. Who knows? This team basically screams filler. It's just like, alright, what can I put together that would, I guess, qualify as decent? That's definitely Lampo and Skippy John Jones. They don't even come from the same show. I just put them together because, why not? And I love 44 Cats, cute show. Obviously, grew up with the Skippy John Jones books. So, two great cat characters. Let's put them together, and they qualify as, at best, fine, and at worst, boring. Honestly, though, I think that's a big theme of Season 3. At best, fine, at worst, boring. Nothing else I really have to say. Just the same thing I've been saying about all the other teams from Season 3, so we can move right along. Number 25, Bluey and Bingo. Season 3, placement 2nd. Oh, so here we have the first team that made it to the final 3 that I'm putting on this list. And like I've been saying about all the others that we just talked about, Bluey and Bingo are just fine, at best. At worst, boring. They're another one of those typical young teams, and once again, they just kind of exist. I mean, at least they're more fun and they make more sense than some of the other ones. They are the main characters of Bluey. Great show for sure. So I can kind of see what I'm going for with this. But once again, they just have the same problems as all the other ones. They're young, they're not quite as fun to do, and they are in the cursed Season 3, so there's that. Nothing else I have to say about them. It's the same thing I've been saying about the other teams from Season 3. Moving on. Number 24, Red Yoshi and Pink Yoshi. Season 1, placement 6th. So, Red Yoshi and Pink Yoshi are the first team we're talking about from Season 1, which is kind of crazy. But that just goes to show how great of the cast Season 1 is. And it honestly is really, really great. However, Yoshi's, I don't know how I really feel about them. I guess they were fun to do, but at the same time, they were basically just clones, so there goes the option of someone else interesting joining, and they were just fine overall. Now, because they made it all the way to 6th place, there was a lot of time with them. Not necessarily a bad thing, unless, of course, it's Bingo and Rolly from Season 3, but, I don't know. I look at them, then I look at everyone else from Season 1, and I say, I think they were just a little better. And Yoshi and Birdo, oh my gosh, the Yoshis were a great team, but I just think there's other teams from this season that were better, so I know, I can't believe we're just now starting to talk about Season 1. Now, I bet if they were in Season 3, they would have been one of my favorites. But for Season 1, nah, they weren't one of my favorites, unfortunately. They were decent overall, though. Number 23, Tails and Cream, Season 1, 7th place. So, Tails and Cream, here we finally have another Sonic team that we're talking about. And Tails and Cream can be considered fun, I guess. Okay, let me put it this way. They were way more fun than Espio and Charmy were, because they actually made way more sense, and they were just way more fun to do in general. And, once again, they only did race in one season, but that's alright. They weren't personally one of my absolute favorite teams of all time. I guess they did kind of qualify in a way as the young team from Season 1, so there's that. But if they were counting with all the other young teams, they were definitely one of the more boring ones. And once again, they weren't bad, they were just almost kind of like Pink Yoshi and Red Yoshi in a way, where they were just more boring than, bad. Better than Espio and Charmy, but that's about it. Number 22, Sonic and Amy. Season 1, 11th place. Out of all the 11 placers, Sonic and Amy were definitely one of the best ones, just because, it's Sonic and Amy. This is back when, I only had done 11 teams, so all 11 teams were pretty fun to do, even some of the more weaker ones, so somebody has to go first, and I end up choosing Sonic and Amy. It's kind of interesting how they were in the very first season, and then that was just it for them. I don't really know how well they would have worked if I would have kept going with them. I guess they would have worked fine, but, it is what it is. 11th place ended up being what it was for them. Although we can at least thank their cameo in Season 4's All-Star Season Episode 1, where they end up giving the clue to everybody. That's something I really loved about Season 4. One of the million things I loved about Season 4 is that I could have used at least some of the teams in some way, shape, or form. So even if Sonic and Amy were only in Season 1 for one episode, they could at least come back to give the clue to teams. So, overall, I'd say they were just meh. I don't know. They only got to do them for one leg, so. Number 21, DK and Diddy Kong. Season 1, placement, 8th place. Okay. Here we have another team who's just fine, who's just average. I didn't hate them, I didn't love them. They were just average. They ended up getting 8th place, so they actually stayed in it fairly long, up to like episode 5 or something like that. And this was still before, I made before I split the episodes up, is what I'm trying to say. They were fine. They weren't anything too crazy, but hey, they were cool enough. It's good old DK and Diddy Kong. They gotta be in a season sooner or later. Number 20, Puppy Paws and Shasta. So here we have the first instance where we have a two-time teamer. So Puppy Paws and Shasta originated in Season 3, where they got 10th place. But they ended up coming back in Season 4's All-Star, where they got 7th place. So they did do better. And this is one of those cases where their first time playing, they were just meh. They weren't anything too crazy. I literally just put them... I didn't even mean to put them on because Daisy said it would be funny. I just did it because I didn't know who else to do and I was running out of teams. And at the time, they were pretty boring and, in my opinion, probably weaker than some of the teams like Bluey and Bingo or even Lampu and Skippy John Jones. But in comes 2024, and then I decided to do Season 4. And I bring Puppy Paws and Shasta back, and the joke is literally just because Daisy and Peach came back. And honestly, they were way more fun to do in that season. Now, there could have been a bunch of different reasons why they were way more fun to do in Season 4. Like, for starters, it was Season 4, not Season 3. They were with a way better cast. Also, the fact that Daisy and Peach were there, which made them way more fun to do, probably just because of the fact that, Christmas sitcom, so that made it more fun. And they also survived a lot longer, too, so they weren't just here and then got eliminated right away. They actually, stayed in it a lot longer, which made them a lot more fun. And the rivalry between Daisy and Puppy Paws, I guess, is fun to do as well. Number 19, Steven Creeper. Season 3 and Season 4. So in Season 3, their placement was Final 3's 3rd place. In Season 4, they were 11th place. So yeah, definitely a very big placement difference. So Steve and Creeper in Season 3 were fine, I guess. They were definitely one of the better teams of Season 3, but I don't know. They were still more of a below average compared to some of the other teams that I've done before, so they weren't anything too special. Now, what's funny is that currently, what I could have done for that season is done Steve and Alec, but at the time I didn't have an Alec plush. Now I do have an Alex plush, so I could have done Steve and Alex then, but whatever. I did Steven Creeper, which once again, a non-talking character with a talking character, which sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I think this works way better than Yoshi and Birdo do, but once again, I think there's just better ones out there. And once again, I just remember doing Steve because of the fact he made it to the final 3 in Season 3. He survived so long, so it was just one of those teams I just, I shouldn't say hated doing, but I was just like, oh, here we go, Season 3 with teams like Steven Creeper again. It was nothing too crazy. Now, for Season 4, I literally just brought them back just to have a first boot. I figured, why not? We gotta have at least a few Season 3 teams in here. And why not to kind of make fun of Season 3, get one of the Season 3 teams out first. And I would choose the one that was definitely the least fun to do in Season 4 for the whatever it's called, the Season 3 cast. Because the other two ended up being way more fun this season, where Steve and Creeper basically just remained the exact same, because of the fact that I didn't really improve upon them. I just brung them back just to have a first boot. So, good old Steve and Creeper. They definitely weren't one of my absolute favorites, but they worked, I guess. Number 18, Rosalina and Shadow, Season 2, placement 4th. So, Rosalind and Shadow are another one of these weird characters that I decided to put together. And, you know how well that worked in Season 3, obviously, with Lampa and Skippy John Jones. I did think that it did work better this time, though, since Rosalind and Shadow were more fun to do. They weren't one of my absolute favorite teams of all time, especially from Season 2, but hey, they were fine enough. And props to them, they made it to 4th place. I don't know what to say. They were a decent team overall. Number 17, Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox. Season 3, where they got 5th place, and came back in All-Stars, where they also got 5th place. So, I don't really know how I feel about Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox. In one way, they were definitely one of the best teams from Season 3, because of the fact that I felt like they were more interesting, and they made a lot more sense than some of the other teams. Although they were just fine to do, like some of the others. Although I do think they were more fun in a way than some of the other young teams, and even teams like Steve and Creeper, for example. They weren't anything too crazy. They weren't like these big giant plushies that were hard to film. They didn't have this random backstory that made zero sense. No, I think they were pretty fun to do in season. Well, they were especially more fun than some of the other teams that Season 3 had to offer. And of course, in come All-Stars, and they were just as much fun that season as they were in the original. If anything, they were more fun in this season, probably just because it was Season 4 and I was having way, way more fun with that season. They were with a much, much better cast, a way more fun cast, and I feel like their role in the season was way more fun to do. Because of all the drama where Knuckles and Roos basically ended up turning to the villains of the season, Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox made an alliance with obviously Bear My Baby Luigi, and they all just kind of stuck together to kind of watch out for Knuckles and Roos in a way. I don't know, it was kind of fun doing them though, I would say. It was more fun in this, I would say it was even more fun doing them in this season than it was in their original season. But come on, I mean, it's Season 3, what am I expecting? But for out of all the Season 3 teams that I've rung back in the All-Star, Minecraft Bunny, Minecraft Fox were definitely my favorite. Yep, yeah, they were my favorite that I brung back, and from Season 3, and they were probably my favorite team from Season 3 that I ended up doing once it was over. So, good old Minecraft Bunny, Minecraft Fox. Number 16, Baby Peach and Baby Daisy. Season 3, placement 8th. So here we have a definitely better Season 3 team than the other ones that we talked about. For starters, Baby Peach and Baby Daisy actually make sense. You know, I've done Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, I've done Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi. Well, what about Baby Peach and Baby Daisy? Never done them before. And, well, here they are, Season 3. And they were definitely more fun than Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi was. There's probably 2 reasons for that. Number 1, Baby Peach and Baby Daisy were in a weak cast season. And number 2, they survived longer than Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi. So that could easily be why. They were overall pretty fun to do. I mean, once again, they weren't top 10 or anything. Not even top 15. They were close. It was number 16. But, you know, for a Season 3 team, they were definitely one of the better ones for sure. Number 15, Blazin' Wave. Season 2, 9th place. I feel like Blazin' Wave were Espio and Charmy done right. They were one of the more of the side characters from, you know, Sonic, but they ended up being more fun than I thought they were going to be. In fact, they were so much fun that I was considering putting them in Season 4's All-Star season. But of course, they got replaced with Bowser and Bowser Jr. They could have been more of a boring team, but they actually were kind of fun. And of course, the whole thing with Wave and Hammer Bro, which ended up happening, I think, into Season 4, which ended up being a lot of fun to do as well. But Blazin' Wave, they were a pretty good team. I'll give them top 15. Number 14, Cat Luigi and Polterpuppy. So, even though I really did enjoy doing Cat Luigi and Polterpuppy in Season 2, there's obviously some problems with them. Now yeah, Polterpuppy and Cat Luigi were fun, but I already did Luigi in Season 1, so I wanted to find a way to have Polterpuppy have a partner in Season 2. So I'm like, Cat Luigi, why not? I mean, if there can be 5 different Princess Peaches and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, then I'm sure it ain't gonna hurt to have Cat Luigi as one of the teams in Stuffed Animal Amazing Race. Obviously, though, this would have been the only season that they would have been in because of the fact that they were, you know, well, Cat Luigi, of course, is a clone character. And I wasn't going to bring Luigi back because he was just in Season 1 and won, so, you know, I wasn't going to do that. So we'll just say they were a fun little team who made it to the final 3 and got 2nd place. So, Great team, just once again not one of my absolute personal favorites. Number 13, Blue Toad and Yellow Toad, Season 1, 3rd place. So here we have another one of these quote-unquote clone ones. They weren't a bad team. In fact, they were kind of fun to do. And heck, they were even more fun than Toad and Toadette for Season 1. But, they are also just Blue Toad and Yellow Toad. It's two Toads, just like the problem with the two Yoshis. But Toad characters are, in my opinion, more fun to do than Yoshi characters, so they were great overall. So, yeah, there's that. Good old Blue Toad and Yellow Toad. Number 12, Toad and Toadette. Season 1, 9th place, and Season 4, 6th place. So, Toad and Toadette are definitely a very mixed-feeling team. So in Season 1, they were, I guess, fun and all, but they were just kind of the more standard meh team. In Season 4, though, I did have a lot more fun with them. It could be because it was Season 4, which I liked even more than Season 1. They were on a great cast, of course. And they're Toad and Toadette. They were pretty fun, and they made it a lot further in Season 4. I always remember Toad and Toadette being one of the first teams that I had in mind for the All-Star season, because of the fact that they were actually a fairly strong team in the original season. Heck, they won a leg before they got eliminated. But the fact they got eliminated, they got very unlucky. So I did kind of want to bring them back. And bring them back I did, and they were even more fun in this season than they were in their original. So, hey, props. They were fun to do, of course. Good old Toad and Toadette. What else need I say? Number 11, Bowser and Bowser Jr., Season 1, 10th place, and Season 4, 9th place. So, Bowser and Bowser Jr. are one of those teams who I didn't think were going to be that much fun to do, just because I felt like it was going to be, oh, here's another Yoshi's, Toads, DK Diddy Kong type of team. But no, Bowser and Bowser Jr. were actually a little more fun than them in this season. So, I felt like they had more oomph to them, if you know what I mean, opposed to maybe some of those other ones. But, oh, come on, let's be real. Season 1 wasn't the real reason why that they're top 11. It was, of course, the All-Star season, which really made them a lot of fun to do. Obviously, this is 4 years after Season 1, so, you know, I'm a bit better at doing this than I was 4 years ago. And Bowser and Bowser Jr. were way more fun to do, and they were just, I don't know, I just don't have the words. Basically, how do you make a team that was pretty decent in Season 1 even better? Well, that's Bowser and Bowser Jr. for you. I thought they would, I figured they'd be a little more fun to do than Blaze and Wave. And I was right, because Bowser and Bowser Jr., of course, have the great father-son duo, a little better than DK and Diddy Kong, in my opinion, because no one's really sure if, I don't think Diddy Kong is DK's son. So, having the father-son duo is just really great, and they're, of course, a really great team, and they were a lot of fun to do in Season 4, that's for sure, even if they still didn't survive that long, but that's how you can tell this is a really great team, if it's up this high, and they got 10th and 9th place, so, hey, they're a great team, for sure, definitely one of my absolute favorites. Number 10, the Golden Retrievers, Season 2, and this is the first case that we have a winner. The Golden Retrievers ended up surpassing all the teams and became the winners of Season 2's Stuffed Animal Amazing Race, which is kind of crazy, and I think it's something that kind of popped up as the season went on. Originally, I don't think I was going to make them win, but then I was like, you know what, I think they will be the winners. So they were definitely the underdogs, as they are dogs. So, as being the underdogs, they still managed to make it to the final 3 and win the whole thing, which was funny. This was the first case in scenario where that we had a full-on young team in this season, and I think they worked really well. It wasn't just a whole, like, half the teams were young. They weren't boring. They weren't big and obnoxious to do. I guess they were kind of a bigger team, like they were definitely one of the bigger plushies that I did, but they weren't just large like Bingo and Ruli were. They could actually sit and stand and stuff, and because this is the first case and scenario that I did have a younger team, or a full-on young team in this season, I think they worked really well. Also because of the fact that they ended up winning this season. Props to the Golden Retrievers. They definitely deserve the $1 million. They were a fun team to do overall, and I'm glad I did them, because they were, in my opinion, my favorite out of all the young teams. Number 9, Bob and Boopkins, the winners of Season 3. So here we have another winner team, and they were as much fun as the Golden Retrievers were, I guess. For a Season 3 team, they were definitely, in my opinion, my favorite team that I've done. They're the only team that I didn't just generally dislike as the season went on, and or just a team that didn't get eliminated early on, so I just didn't have time to really like doing them. So, obviously, it's Bob and Boobkins from SMG4. Gotta love them. Great duo, although you gotta use Bob the Minion. I had that Minion plush for a long, long time, and I figured, you know what, his name's Bob, so we'll just pretend it's Bob and Boobkins from SMG4. And you know what, it worked really well. They were a pretty fun team to do overall. Definitely my favorite from Season 3. I already knew from, like, before I started the season that they were going to be the winners of Season 3 because of the fact that, I just felt like they'd be way more iconic than some of the other teams, and that it was 100% true because they were definitely, without a doubt, my favorite team from Season 2. Season 3. Sorry, not Season 2. But, yeah, good old Bob and Boobkins. Number 8, Hammer Bro and Boomerang Bro. Season 2, where they got 7th place, and Season 4, where they got 10th place. Basically the complete opposite of the other team, Puppy Paws and Shasta. Now here's a Mario enemy team that worked way, way better than teams like Goomba and Koopa or Morton and Roy. Hammer Bro and Boomerang Bro were a lot of fun to do, probably because they both have the same goofy personality. They both are just happy-go-lucky, I guess, is the way that I ended up doing it. But it ended up turning out really great, and they were a lot of fun to do. Like, more fun than I thought they were going to be, actually. Now, yeah, their Season 4 appearance might have been a lot smaller than Season 2, but they're still so iconic. I did, of course, want to bring them back, and they were, of course, just as much fun that season as they were in their original. Even if, of course, they didn't stay in it as long, they are, of course, the iconic Hammer Bro and Boomerang Bro that we know and love. Number 7, Minecraft Dog and Minecraft Cat. Wow, I did not think this team would make it this far up in this ranking, but they did. Okay, never mind what I said about the Golden Retrievers. Minecraft Dog, Minecraft Cat are, in my opinion, my favorite out of the young teams that I've done. Now, yeah, I do kind of hold a grudge on them because they were the team who eliminated Knuckles and Rouge in Season 2, but that's a minor detail. I don't look at that too much, but I just think, hey, Minecraft Dog and Minecraft Cat are a great team from Season 2, and, worked because they're Minecraft characters. And it's not like Creeper where they don't talk, or where he doesn't talk. They both obviously do talk. Well, I guess I made them talk even if they don't talk, so there's that. And of course, I love the way that I did their story, too. And this is nothing that I ever knew about in Season 2 at the time, either. Where I just like, the dog's the happy one, the cat is the one that's a little more grouchier, I guess, in a way, or just, I don't know what the word is, but you kind of know what I mean. And I figured I'd expand on that story in the All-Stars, and they're not even a team in All-Stars. They were just given the clue out. But this is something I planned for months, way before the episode even began, where I decided, you know what, let's have some, character development into Minecraft Cat's character, and even Minecraft Dog, and have them just a way more interesting team. And I actually really love the way that it turned out. Remember how we were talking about Bingo and Rolly and how that didn't work out? Well, this is the complete opposite, and even in episode 7 as well, this same leg that we had the Bingo and Rolly stuff. But, this worked way, way, way better. And I love the way that it worked out and kind of evolved the story of Season 4 in a way where it kind of revealed the villains of the season, and oh, it was just great. I really enjoyed doing it, and I mean, if it wasn't for Season 3 and I had to put in Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox, then I definitely would have put in Minecraft Cat and Minecraft Dog, because they definitely had a lot more character potential than Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox does. But, still a great iconic team for sure. Definitely one of my absolute favorites. Number 6, Wario and Waluigi, Season 1 and Season 4, where they got 5th and then later 8th place. So, Wario and Waluigi, of course, is the iconic Wario Bros, and of course they're a lot of fun to do, although, once again, they're not quite as fun as some of the other characters. They're good old Wario and Waluigi, so they're characters on their own, but there's just a few other teams that I think are a little more enjoyable than them, although they did do well, and they got 5th place in the original season. By Season 4, I mean, they were still great in this season. Obviously, it's Wario and Waluigi. They're icons. But, once again, there's just a few other teams that are a little more enjoyable than them. But it's good old Wario and Waluigi. I have nothing else really to say about them. They were fun to do. Number 5, Mario and Luigi. So here we have the winners of the very original season, Season 1. Oh, good old Mario and Luigi. Where do I begin with them? I mean, once again, just like Wario and Waluigi, they're icons. They're a lot of fun to do. They're, I don't know. There's just no words for them. They're fun to do. They were in Season 1. They won. What's funny is that they won the very first and the very last leg, and that was it. But yeah, it's good old Mario and Luigi. They're icons. They're, of course, a lot of fun to do. Number 4, Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. Oh man, out of all the baby characters, of course, Baby Mario and Baby Luigi are the most iconic of them all. It's Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. It's Mario and Luigi, but in baby form. And personally, I thought they were even more enjoyable than the adults were. Probably just because they were just a little more funnier, and they were more fun to do overall than Mario and Luigi, because, Baby Mario and Baby Luigi are a little more funnier in a way, and of course, the funnier teams are usually more fun to do. And of course, their appearance in Season 4 helps, because that just further expands on Baby Mario and Baby Luigi's character. Heck, they even got to make it to the Final 3 this time around. And unfortunately not win, but hey, Final 3, that's a step up from getting, 4th place from the original season. And just like the original season, Baby Mario and Baby Luigi were just as much fun to do in this season as they were in the original. So yeah, not much else I have to say here. Number 3, Knuckles and Rouge. Season 2, where they got 6th place, and Season 4, where they got 4th place. Good old Knuckles and Rouge. They're once again very iconic, and in my opinion, my absolute favorite Sonic team that I've ever done. I love just the, obviously, boyfriend-girlfriend and then Knuckles and Rouge chemistry together. Knuckles just being downright dumb, and Rouge having to correct them all the time. They're just so much fun to do. I remember enjoying them a lot in season 2, and they always have like fun with everything that gets thrown their way. Heck, even the episode where they get eliminated on, they're still just goofing around, which is funny. And of course, their Season 4 appearance was even more fun than the original, because now there's even more funny chaos things that I can do with Knuckles and Rouge. They were even more fun. They made it all the way to Final 4, which meant they spent an extra 2 legs compared to their original season. And of course, about, I wouldn't say midway through, maybe a little after midway through, they end up revealing themselves as the villains for the season, which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun it's kind of fun doing villains in a way. And of course, Knuckles and Rouge ended up being casted as them, and they were of course a lot of fun to do in this season, even more fun than their original in my opinion. And hey, it's Knuckles and Rouge. They're a lot of fun. Obviously they bring the chaos. They were definitely one of my absolute favorite teams from season 4 that I've done, and they were very, very on par with the other 2 teams. Like they were so much fun this in season 4 that they were on par with my 2 absolute favorite teams of all time. Speaking of which, let's go to number 2. Number 2, Stampy and Fizzy. Season 2, where they got 3rd place, and Season 4, where they also got 3rd place. Oh man, talk about an icon of a season. I remember enjoying them a lot in Season 2, and I already knew that I definitely wanted to bring them back in Season 4, especially after how meh Season 3 went. So I was definitely like, alright, I definitely want fun teams back then in Season 4 because of how bland Season 3 ended up going. And I just enjoyed doing Stampy and Fizzy so much. Now, obviously, Fizzy is one of those characters who does not talk. But in this case, I think it works really, really well since Stampy is a character on his own, which of course is a lot of fun to do. And of course, they were just as much fun to do in the All-Stars as the original season because, they're just a lot of fun to do. Bring back some of the best casts like Stampy and Fizzy, and there you go. Although I don't think they're my absolute favorite team of all time. I think we kind of know what number 1 is, but, Stampy and Fizzy obviously are icons, and they were a lot of fun to do for not 1, but 2 seasons. Anywho, let's get to my favorite team that I've ever done in Stuffed Animal Amazing Race, and that team is Peach and Daisy. Season 1, where they got 2nd, and Season 4, where they ended up being the winners. Good old Peach and Daisy. They're just, of course, tons of fun to do. They're their own characters on their own. Season 1, of course, they were pretty fun to do with the great cast Season 1 had, although I think they were a bit better in the All-Stars. And that's not me saying they weren't bad in Season 1, or that they were bad in Season 1. They weren't. They were obviously tons of fun to do. And of course, Peach and Daisy were the strongest team in Season 1, so, it only made sense for them to win eventually, since they, of course, didn't in Season 1. So in comes Season 4, and Peach and Daisy are even more strong in this season than they were in their original. And of course, they ended up making it to the Final 3 and win the $1 million. Peach and Daisy are, of course, characters on their own, as we know. Daisy is crazy, and Peach hates Luigi. But unfortunately, we couldn't have any of that, since Luigi and Mario already won in the very first season, so I wasn't going to bring them back. But I can at least bring Peach and Daisy back, and they, of course, ended up winning. And that was my plan even, before All-Stars began. It's a great wrap-up story to Stuffed Animal Amazing Race, in my opinion, and a great last way to do Peach and Daisy, and a great last way to do Stuffed Animal Amazing Race in general. With that, that was me ranking every single team that I did on Stuffed Animal Amazing Race ever. All 33 teams, which is crazy. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good day.